I don't know that I've come to terms with it. I mean, I know that it's happened, and it seems kind of surreal. It's kind of that butterfly effect, closing doors, and I start thinking, you know, what if I could have played more? And then, you know, you start thinking, you know, did I, you know, it's not about the money. I would have made more money, but so what?
The province of Manitoba has produced its share of world-class athletes, but only one has ever gone on to play in the NBA. Todd MacCulloch got to live out every young basketball player's dream. In college, he was a star for the Washington Huskies. He went pro and made it to the NBA Finals twice in only 4 seasons, and became an Olympian for Team Canada. Dreams can't last forever, but if you follow them, they'll always take you where you need to go. This is the story about the big man from Manitoba.
Growing up in Winnipeg was great. I loved growing up in Winnipeg. You're too young to know how cold it is, and you're too young. You haven't been a lot of places to know that not everywhere gets frozen in the winter, and it's just home, and you bundle up. And I think the cold weather makes good people, and so I'm proud to be from there. Lots of great folks, and lots of support, and lots of people that invested a lot of time in getting the most out of my basketball potential.
The first time I saw Todd was just outside the gym here, walking down the hall, and it was the first day of school of his grade 10 year, and the hall was absolutely packed with kids, except for this 6'9" character walking amid all these kids down the hall, and you could pick him out right away.
There were some unkind things said to him about him being as big as he was playing as a 9 and 10-year-old, an 11-year-old. So he was always a head and a half taller than everyone else, and so we were a tall family. His mom was 5'11", his uncle was 6'6", so height really was a non-issue in the family, but he kind of surprised us all.
So there were always jokes about my height, and every couple of months I would come to school, and my parents would have measured me up against the wall, and I'd have grown an inch or something, and I'd come to school, and it would be the news of the day. Hey guys, I'm 6'2" now, and 3 months later, hey guys, I'm 6'3" now, and 2 months later, I'm 6'4" now. So there was a year in 9th grade where I went from being 6 feet tall at the beginning of it to being 6'6" at the end of it. So I feel like I'd grown. The school year is probably only 10 months long, so it seemed like every couple of months I was growing up an inch.
His grade 11 season started. Every time he stepped on the court, you could tell he was learning. The conference final was held here at Shaftesbury against Oak Park, and Oak Park was a formidable opponent.
To me, it was the highlight of my sporting career. I've never had that feeling again at any level, be it the Olympics or the NBA Finals or the NCAA Tournament, Sweet 16, that I had in that moment when we had won that provincial championship. I felt like it was an out-of-body experience, and I ran around like an idiot, and I just couldn't. I was so elated. I mean, I felt like I was floating on air. I think when you put up 50 points in a provincial championship and you win it, then you think, well, maybe I can play at the next level.
I think there was 36 schools who were definitely interested in him from the U.S.
I thought I was going to have to decide between UW and University of Winnipeg, University of Manitoba, and then North Dakota State. And it's a big decision to make at such a young age, but just kind of felt at home. And Seattle just felt like a very Canadian city. Felt like it wasn't that far from the border, and that people they didn't have misconceptions about Canada being a frozen wasteland of us living in igloos and riding on dog sleds. So Seattle just seemed like home. So it was kind of an easy choice. At that point, just wanted to make the team and wanted to get a degree and have a good experience. And then wasn't sure if I was going to redshirt or play, and so I ended up redshirting, which I thought meant that I wasn't a good player. I thought that I'd sort of let them down, that they had recruited me, but I took it as I'm not ready. And in actuality, it ended up to be probably the best decision. That it helped them, it helped me, and I was so much better in my final year.
During his senior year with the University of Washington, Todd was an honorable mention All-American and an All-Pac-10 first-team selection. He averaged 19 points and 12 rebounds per game and led the NCAA in field goal percentage. In 1999, he was drafted 47th overall by the Philadelphia 76ers.
I made the team, and after that I said, I don't want to be 13th, 14th, 15th man anymore. I don't want to be on injured reserve. I want to be one of the 12 that play. And I worked my way up into being one of those guys that, and now that's not enough. Now I want to be a contributor. I want to be 6th, 7th, and 8th. I want to get into the game. I want to be in there in meaningful time, not just garbage time at the end. And then eventually towards the end of my career, I became a starter for my last 2 seasons. Like that was a place where I was very happy. You can prepare and you know when you're going to play and you know you're going to start the game and hopefully you're going to finish it, and you have the confidence of your teammates and your coaches and your fans to know that, hey, there's 15 guys on the team and here's one of the guys in the upper third. I just remember having a conversation with Allen Iverson saying, Todd, it's like you don't have any bones in your hands. Your hands are so soft. It's like you catch everything I throw. Kind of got a reputation as someone that could catch the basketball, and then you join the Nets with a guy like Jason Kidd who loved to pass the basketball. Just was having some trouble during training camp when I was after I'd been traded back to the 76ers, and just started to experience some numbness and some tingling in my feet.
There was a young man. He was playing very well. He was happy. Looking forward to a long career in the NBA, but all of a sudden it went sideways on him, and he was hurting.
I started falling down on the court, which I really had good balance and really didn't hit the floor unless Shaq knocked me down. And I was just starting to really just not know where I was on the court and was really unstable. And the coaches could tell that something was wrong, and so they did their best to give me send me to some top neurologists that would try and figure out what was going on and if we could reverse it. And we had a very difficult time trying to track down what had happened and how to make it better.
But it was a tough one. It really was. And it's a physical problem, but then I don't think we grasped then just how much of an impact it was going to have on him mentally.
I'm not sure that we had that conversation. I know that he felt badly for me, and I know that he felt like things had been going really, really well, and that it wasn't really fair that they were going away. I'm not sure that we had it directly, but I know that he felt badly for me, and that he, he'd want to take it all away if he could. Yeah.
You blew the bet. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out.
Since his retirement, Todd has amassed close to 100 vintage pinball and gaming machines.
I think the future looks good. Like I said, I'm trying to be a kid and trying to refusing to grow up.
He's competed professionally in pinball competitions, beating some of the best players in the world.
Well, if I can do that well against somebody this good, maybe I can just keep this thing rolling. So I ended up winning the next match and playing against some just fantastic, amazing pinball players, and somehow was able to pull it off and ended up winning. I think I'm still continuing to search for that camaraderie, and so got a golf team, and then I play in a pinball league, and I started playing water polo, and I think I'm looking to fill that void of being part of a team. And so it's never going to be replaced because you're just not at that same level. And but I'm doing the best I can, and I'm enjoying the friendships, and it's what I have. It's what I can do. Mainly kind of a full-time dad right now, and part-time pinball operator.
Todd, back over a decade ago, approached us about giving back into the basketball community that he was such a benefactor of.
I said, why don't we do something where some of these kids that might not get to go to summer camp get to have a basketball camp experience throughout the school year, and they get to work on their skills, and they get a t-shirt and a basketball, and they get to work on drills, and then these coaches get to help them, and then at the end of it they'll have a big jamboree and they'll play against each other, and they get to have a lot of fun. And that was an important ingredient to me. It was, if basketball hadn't been fun, I probably would have quit a long time ago.
It's good because it helps other people to learn how to play basketball and all those skills like passing, dribbling, and everything. So it's good for other people that are just learning how to play basketball.
It was sort of the start of something really good and something that I'm really proud of, and it continues to this day. I mean, even last night or the night before, I had another dream about playing in the NBA and getting back in shape and trying out for a team. It was a very difficult time for me, and I was definitely suffering from depression for the first time in my life, and really was confused about why my feet were hurting me, why I can't play, why I look around the stadium and I see 20,000 people, and I think in my head, all 20,000 of those people have perfectly good working feet. Why can't I just have a pair of their feet? When you're an athlete, your body is your career and it's your livelihood, and when you're not able to do that job, and something that I had done since as long as I could remember, it's difficult to come to grips with. There's all these things, you know, you always kind of think about the what ifs, and you want to bunch them all into the positives of things that could be different in looking back, and then you got to kind of take stock and look at, you know, I've got a beautiful, incredible wife. I've got 2 happy, healthy children, and they would be different people than they are, and I don't want them to be different.